All right, I call to order the special, or the regular Committee of the Whole meeting for Wednesday, September 10th, 2025. Okay, land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that we are gathered on Treaty 8 First Nations territory with the long-standing presence of the elders and ancestors of Treaty 8. Through this acknowledgement, we extend recognition and respect to the Treaty 8 First Nations and all those who call the Peace Country home. Okay, number 3, adoption of the agenda. Does anyone want to make that motion?
That Council adopts the September 10th, 2025 Committee of the Whole agenda meeting.
My apologies.
Discussion.
There is one item that we noted here. I think it's 11.6. There's 2 attachments to the same item. Okay. So I just wanted to make it clear that when it comes time for correspondence, that item. Basically, it's a letter from the Southeast Crime Prevention Association inviting council to attend one of their speed watches. Just noting that in the agenda.
Wonderful, thank you. Councilor Rebel?
The item's labeled 11.6, same as Save Our Streets. Should we attend to it as 11.6 and renumber the other, or should we add it in as 11.8?
Just 11.8.
Okay. 11.6 becomes 11.8. That's Save Our Streets.
Oh, that's the cops.
Wonderful. I'd also like to make a suggestion that we amend the agenda slightly on 12.1. Instead of reading the bylaw for the first, second, and third readings, that we accept for information and discussion, as this is a committee of the whole meeting. Does anyone have any objections to that? Will you second that?
I'll second.
Okay, discussion.
So my understanding of this bylaw is this meeting is for discussion because we can't, it's a committee of the whole meeting, so the recommendation from this, if we decide to move forward with it, is to move to the regular meeting. So, either to move it to the regular meeting or not, or leave it at the committee of the whole level, we'll be fleshing out.
Perfect. I'll call a question on making that for discussion and to recommend that it move to the regular. It's changing to the agenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Councilor Johnson, that was for 12.1, instead of actually reading the bylaw, just using it as discussion and then making the recommendation on which to vote. Next one.
We got a favor.
Oh, sorry. I have a literally.
Perfect. Adoption of the minutes.
We have motion to pass the agenda.
Oh, motion to adopt the agenda with the amendment. Seconded.
Aye.
Perfect. All in favor?
Aye.
Perfect. Adoption of minutes. 4.1.
4.1, June 11th, 2025, Committee of the Whole minutes. Recommendation that Council will adopt the June 11th, 2025 Committee of the Whole minutes as presented.
Seconded by Councilor Johnston. Discussion. Councilor Rabel.
As previously mentioned at the previous meeting, I was not in attendance at this meeting, therefore I cannot verify that this is an accurate transcript. Therefore,
I will also be voting in opposition as I was not in attendance of that meeting. Okay. I'll call the question on, no other discussion? Okay. I'll call the question on adopting the minutes from the June 11th Committee of the Whole. All in favor?
In favor.
Carried. Opposed? Perfect. No late items, no public hearings, no delegations, no unfinished business. Oh no, we do have a late item. No, we don't. Yeah. Oh, do you want your opposed noted, Councilor Rabel?
Yes, please.
I would also like mine noted. Thank you, Councilor Whittle. I've never done this before. Okay. We have no introduction of late items, no public hearings, no delegations, no unfinished business or business arising from the minutes. Going on to new business, 9.1.
That Council consider the Christmas office hours of operation for discussion, potential decision.
Okay. Seconded by Councilor Whittle. Discussion. Councilor Rabel.
I don't mean to talk all the time. What I'm getting at is this comes back every year. However, we have a policy in place. In previous years, they've slightly changed it, but obviously the statutory holidays are off. They either get the policy says half day for Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve. Last year we did the whole day off because it was a Wednesday, now it's a Thursday, Friday thing. Anyways, from staff, what is needed in this policy so that the policy guides these hours of operation and it doesn't have to keep coming back to council? Or is it purely somehow the purview of council to do this? Why does it keep coming back to 2040?
Okay.
I'll go to, might impact, sorry.
Okay.
So if I remember correctly, we did set the policy last year, but staff had banked time off, and majority of the staff still had stacked time off that they were owed. So that's why they took it in that time, and that's why we shut down for extra day or something. I guess it was only 1 year coming back, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
From staff's perspective, this is a item that's sometimes a bit of a nicety in some local governments where, council says, hey, thanks so much for everything, we're happy to, provide this, opportunity for staff to be close to their families over the Christmas break. So sometimes it's a bit of a formality. As I looked through some of the past reports on this, it looked like it had been done, consistently over the years, and the practices varied over the years, notwithstanding the policy that was in place. So I figured, okay, let's draft a report, give council some options to see what they prefer. If council wishes for this to not come back, in a future year, again, it's you shouldn't have to make a resolution to tell us that, hey, we've got a policy in place and we're happy with it. But if you did make something to that effect, then at least know that for September next year, that you folks are happy with the half day on Christmas, half day on Christmas Eve, the half day on.
No one's here on Christmas. Oh, what kind of policy?
Scrooge McDuck here. So the half day on Christmas Eve and the half day on New Year's Eve, if council's happy with that, maybe just an extra, clause at the end of your resolution saying that, you want to uphold the policy. You're expecting that to be the standard for the following year.
Councilor Rabble?
And just for clarification, the previous years have always been fully closed on Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve.
Save for last year. Oh, forgive me. Oh, on the full day is what you're saying. And yeah, that's like last year that was the case. Yes, but I believe there was there were a couple of days between 27th, 28th, 29th. I believe the office was open. Again, I can't remember where the weekends fell last year. The year before that, I think there was a more of an extended closure, between Christmas and New Year's, like inclusive of all of those dates. So again, practices have varied. So we just wanted to get clarity from council on what your preference is.
Any other discussion on that?
Chair, if I may.
Oh, yes, Mayor, sorry.
Yeah, no, totally fine. I was just thinking, so what we could do this evening is, if council is feeling prepared to, you could pick which option you think is best. We could go with sort of the same thing we did last year, or what is recommended in the 1.8 policy, and then move that recommendation forward to the regular council meeting.
That's a wonderful idea, thank you. I personally am inclined to go ahead to push option 2. There's no reason, in my view, to bring staff in for half a day, when we can give them the day. So that would mean the 24th, 5th, and 6th, and the 31st and 1st of January, they'd get off.
Something like that. Yeah,
Something like that.
Maybe open on the 29th and 30th.
Open the 29th and the 30th, because the bills are due. People could come in and pay if they needed to.
Got stuff to do.
Yeah.
I think we can see that too.
How's the room feel about that?
Okay.
I'll make the recommendation that we bring forward to the next regular council meeting, option 2, that council direct staff that the village office be closed for the full day on December 24th and 31st, 2025. Seconded by Councilor Woodall. Just discussion. Yep.
Sorry. Councilor Short.
Sorry, I thought it was a vote, sorry.
Oh.
To the point expressed earlier, if you did want to, Mr. Chair, now would be the time where you could direct us to draft an update to the policy so that it's simply to come back for future years.
That's a good point. Yep.
If I may, Chair, that might be maybe a second recommendation after this one is voted on. Would probably be the cleanest way to do it.
Perfect. And that's what we'll do. No more discussion. Or, yes, Councillor Rowe?
If we're to revise this policy, which would be, I guess we're specifically talking about 11B, where instead of closed at noon on those two respective days, it'd be the whole day with the same caveats as they may use available time and bank time. The other thing I'd like to draw attention to if we're opening this up, number 9 for these recognized statutory holidays. The government of British Columbia has added in September 30th as a statutory holiday. Should we also make sure that this list coincides with the direction of the province? How would we like to proceed with that? You know?
I'll direct that to staff.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We can certainly get that corrected in the same draft. The collective agreement says, the collective agreement that the village has with QP stipulates that all provincially or federally recognized holidays would be included in that. So that covers amendments, and we can get some other language in that policy.
Perfect, thank you. Seeing no more discussion, I'll call the question on going ahead with option 2 and bringing that forward to our regular council meeting. All in favor?
In favor.
Unanimous? And carried. Do I have to do an opposed if it's unanimous? No. Okay. And Councillor Ravel, did you have another motion to make?
Well, I make the motion that to direct staff to revisit the statutory public holidays policy number 1.8 to amend 11.11B to include the full day for December 24th and December 31st, and to amend number 9 to either include all current statutory holidays or simply state something along the line of like our flag policy had, where it's as per the provincial legislation or something of the sort. Terrible motion.
I second that.
Okay. Seconded by Mayor Beach. Discussion on that motion? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
In favor.
Unanimous and carried. Perfect. 9.2, September 2025 regular council meeting due date, UBCM conference. So three of us are going to be away during that time. And this is for discussion on changing that date. Will someone second that for discussion? Seconded by Councillor Whittle. Discussion? Councillor Ravel?
I guess it boils down to what decisions need to be made, what business needs to be moved forward. Is that business urgent, therefore demanding September 17th? Can it be delayed, demanding October 1st? Or is it not required, and then we can just delete it and then have cancel it and then have a future one?
Let me check.
Okay.
Chair,
Yeah.
if I may. Remember, this would be delaying or not having the regular council meeting. So the business that's from tonight's meeting goes to the regular council meeting for initial vote from council. So any business this evening will be going forward to this next meeting. So just a reminder of that. So tonight's agenda will kind of give you an idea of what would be coming forward to that next meeting.
Oh, of course. There doesn't seem to be a lot on here. Yes, Councillor Ravel.
How about the suggestion of an alternative 4th? You take your committee of the whole meeting in October, cancel that, and move your September regular council meeting in place of that committee of the whole meeting in the start of October.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, I am recalling that there's a potential time-sensitive item depending on how the special meeting goes this evening. The permissive tax exemption application form does have some timelines on it where if you folks do approve it, at your special meeting this evening, staff would post or make that available to, previously exempted organizations and other nonprofits in the community. That would probably leave, I suspect. So you want a little bit of time between, tonight and, when you'd want those applications to be submitted to council. I suspect October 1st makes sense for you. And then you have another regular meeting that's slated before the end of October that you might want to do final reading and adoption on. Because the permissive tax exemption bylaw is, requires the double whammy. You got to do the first 2 readings and then go for adoption later on. So.
Okay, so you're suggesting go with option 1 to reschedule to September 17th?
For operational effectiveness, yeah. But
Okay.
again, we can make anything work. If you guys, sometimes the challenge is making quorum. If we're worried about quorum for October 1st, then we can make another date work too. So.
Does anyone in the room or yes, Mayor?
I was just thinking, wouldn't the October 1st work better for you guys with with UBCM? I know some of you are traveling down by vehicle, so I'm just trying to think about driving and that kind of stuff. So does the 17th not work does the 17th work better, or does the 1st work better for everybody?
I think myself and Councillor Rabel are are doing that inventive.
Yeah.
Day on the 17th. Yeah. And then the 19th was the lagoon, so doing it later on the day on the 17th. I'm still doing the whole day for village.
It's doable. I'm amenable to both dates.
Yeah.
Councillor Johnston have anything?
I'm good with either one.
Yeah, 17th works for me as well, guys. So.
Okay.
Keeping that in mind, just for the sake of the conversation, the schedule for permissive tax in that case would be the application form, in theory, would be approved this evening. The applications would be open until September 30th. Staff would draft a bylaw and there'd be a special meeting for the committee of the whole in the first committee of the whole in October. And then there'd be final reading and adoption at the last regular in October. We can still make that work, is what I'm saying, if you folks prefer the 17th.
Sounds like it's a win-win. Okay, so we'll go ahead and I'll make the motion that we reschedule our regular.
Yes. Sorry to interrupt. Just for clarity's sake and for procedural, because in this meeting we approve stuff to go to our next regular council meeting, but this is rescheduling our council meeting. So just out of curiosity, should this or could this be added to our special meeting as a late item so that we can actually action it instead of moving it to the meeting that we're moving?
Great question. I did do a little bit of footwork in the report to say, well, technically, council doesn't need to vote at this juncture, because the procedure bylaw does say that the regular council meetings can be postponed to another date, time, or place by the mayor, with at least 2 days written notice by myself. So if you folks make that, unanimous decision, I can post public notice.
Yeah, it's just the procedural. I wanted to make sure that we were crossing our I's and dotting our T's.
You can do that.
So if I vote opposed, it can't happen.
So subclause A, this is so boring, but subclause A in the procedure bylaw 6.3 says that council can cancel regular scheduled meetings, but you can't do 2 in a row. So you can move this to the special if you want to, but I think we have the authority to make the change. I don't think there's disagreement on the date, as far as what I've heard.
Yeah, staff has the authority. I'm perfectly comfortable with that.
All right. Well, then I'll make the motion to reschedule the next council meeting that will take place in UBCM to September 17th.
Second.
Okay. Seconded by Councilor Rabel. Discussion? Seeing none, I'll call
The motion, just sorry, I'm just being that guy tonight. The motion would be to direct staff to reschedule, not for us to reschedule.
Honestly, no actions required on this item. Don't even need a motion, to be honest, and based on the conversation that's been held here, this is a scheduling conversation.
I already made the motion. Okay, all in favor of rescheduling to the 17th? Perfect. And opposed?
What?
All in favor? I did all in favor of scheduling to the 17th? Are you in favor?
Oh, yes.
Okay, unanimously carried.
Hey, sorry.
All good. Yes, Councilor
I
Ryan.
guess potential point of order. Is this camera actually facing us, or is it slightly askew? Just for the documentation of this
No,
meeting.
it catches the whole room.
It's the smaller one, I believe, not the other one.
It's the one with the blue light that we're using.
Okay.
It seems askew. Anyways, that's fine.
Mary could answer that if she wants to. There's also a display right here in the corner.
Mayor, we're in a point of order here because the camera looks crooked.
Looks pretty good.
Okay.
Well, it is over towards Councillor Woodall a little bit more, so it cuts off staff and there we go. Perfect. Now you're all beautifully centered.
Okay, perfect. Glad that point of order was dealt with.
Thank you.
9.3. Anyone want to go ahead with that one?
Recommend that council supports the village of Poo Scooby's application to the Rural Economic Diversification and Infrastructure Program for Economic Development Officer support for $50,000 per year, up to 3 years, under the capacity stream, and commits to providing overall grant management, including any required ineligible costs and the long-term maintenance of the resulting project.
Second.
Councilor Rabel.
Just
Yes,
quick
ma'am?
question. sorry, I'm gonna be a Councillor Whittle. So can we do that at tonight's meeting? Again, this is a committee of the whole, so we'd have to move the recommendation to accept this to the next regular council meeting, would we not?
Which would be the 17th.
We can discuss it tonight and then make the recommendation to
Move it, yeah.
move it at the next regular meeting. Is there a deadline for this, staff?
October 31st.
Okay.
So moving it to September 17th meeting.
So,
Yes, Mayor?
so I don't know if Councillor Johnson would like to amend his original motion, and then if Councillor Ravel so sees fit, he could continue on with his second.
To discuss?
Would you
I
like
will
to
amend my motion.
To recommend that it goes to the regular council.
To discuss now.
To discuss.
Forward? I second that.
Okay, still seconded by Councillor Ravel, perfect. Okay, discussion.
So I think the capacity program is wonderful. That helps to hire an economic development officer, which is option 1 in this report. I'm curious though about potential for option 2 and option 3. I'm personally in favor of let's go for all the things, let's do what we can, but obviously we only have so many staff, we only have so many hours in the day, and although I think we need an infrastructure master plan update, and we could do with some community recreation upgrades, what does it look like to proceed with not only option 1, but option 2 and option 3? That's what I'm interested in.
Staff?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. I could stand to be corrected. That's my understanding. There's one application permitted under this program through our EDIP.
Chief.
Yeah, so that's why we've provided some of the options based on council's strategic plans, some of the projects that have been discussed and have been on the in the hopper, so to speak, the last little while, and some of the staff capacity pressures that we're feeling.
Chair, if I may?
Yes.
And please correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Melkinson, but if we looked at going with the economical development officer, could they not actually assist in creating infrastructure master plans as well from an economical side of things? So could going with option 1 not actually already assist in option 3?
It could, yes. Sorry, through you, Mr. Chair. Mayor Beach is certainly making a fair point or a fair comment. There's a little bit of development on the economic development officer front. The village received approval from NDIT to, fire back up the economic development officer funded position through them yesterday. So if council did wish to recommend, if the committee of the whole did wish to recommend this to council and direct or authorize a resolution of support at the September 17th meeting, our application would be a little bit broader in nature so that we could be more nimble with some of the other projects that are included in here. One of the alternatives that we were considering in drafting this report was the residential and commercial industrial revitalization tax exemption bylaws. Okay, well, let's get that just prepared independently, but this is something that we could also task an economic development officer with as well. So.
And we could do that through option 1?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Okay. I'm under the impression that option 1 seems to be the best option for staff. So I will make the recommendation that we bring option 1 to the next council meeting on September 17th for a decision.
Second.
Seconded by Councillor Ravel. Discussion?
So, one question I got is, if we do commit with this, any projects or long-term infrastructure we're on the hook for. So what does that potentially look like from an asset management perspective for what we kind of have on the horizon with what the master plan is right now, or community plan?
Fair question. I think the options that are included in here are certainly the infrastructure master plan is to help, develop and some prioritization that we can slot into some of our financial planning processes. The language about committing to long-term maintenance, the resulting project it's I suspect standard pulled from REDIP itself, and that's so that REDIP is not creating the impression that continuing support will be provided via the program, right? It's kind of a CYA for them, but yeah, it's a fair question. Anything that we do does have asset management implications or obligations, certainly in the capital front. So it's something that we can get more info on if there are outlays via capital.
Yeah, because the concern is capital is one thing, but capital actually eventually becomes operational, right?
Yeah.
And capital doesn't seem to be our issue, right? Operational is where the village is a little on the short side, right? So
yeah,
that's my only concern, right? I'm still in favor of this going forward to our next meeting. It's just that point needs to be raised and something to keep in mind as we move forward.
Of course, and Councillor Rabble?
Just for clarification, in this report, under option 3, paragraph 2, it states that administration believes the strongest options for REDIP are the development officer plus the infrastructure plan and the infrastructure plan. So that means that we could get both of them through REDIP. Is that
my
correct?
apologies. Ranking, between them, between all three of the options that were presented. The reason that sentence is kind of an inverse. Like, I was trying to say that I identify community recreation updates and its relationship to tourism because it ranks highly in council's strategic plan, and it's something that's still outstanding from your year 1, year 2 priorities that you have in there. So me being loyal to your guys' plans, hey, we can try, but I don't know that it's an amazing fit based on they want to see economic development through this program. So those 2 options, 1 and 3, probably hit the bells that they have best. We're probably we have a better shot at acceptance that way.
Councillor, the recommendation I made is to put option 1 on the 17th agenda. I believe you're looking at option 3.
Chair, if I may, I also, I apologize. I just have a question for staff. Mr. Malkinson, did you mention that we have been awarded the NDIT Economical Development Grant?
Yes, I did.
And so this would just be another economical development grant when we already have one?
Yeah, theoretically, so this would have to be incremental to any economic development work that was undertaken via NDIT. So again, the application, based on the approval that we received from NDIT yesterday and the posting that we put out today, would have to be value add work. Would have to be, pursuing either some of the studies that are included under the economic development work plan, but it would be more contracted or project-based work rather than, additional staff hours, so to speak.
Okay.
So then, with us, I apologize, with us already having the NDIT grant, maybe it would be in the best interest of this council to actually look at going with option number 3, because we could most likely look at using those funds to contract out a engineering firm and then have them work with the economical development officer and our team already on, just to really enhance that report. So if that's a direction council would like to go, what we could do is we could vote down the original motion and then bring forward option number 3 to the regular council meeting.
That's a good point, Mayor. Could we not just do the same thing as option 3 within option 1 though?
Theoretically, yes, but I think it's nice to tell us what your priorities are, right? We outline these in the reports to say what's important to council. Here's a funding envelope, here's what we think your goals are. If you tell us what your priorities are, we're happy to push in that direction.
Yeah.
Councillor Whittle?
Yeah, I think option 3, because looking at it, infrastructure is a big thing. Like, we just spent $7 million, or we're spending $7 million on fixing a lagoon. And Puskupi, with being one of the older municipalities in the region, has aging infrastructure that hasn't been updated in years, right? We know of, issues that we're starting to have with it, and it's starting to age out. So having a master plan, I think, would be the best utilization of how we're going to tackle this, or how future council is going to tackle this going forward, because that's a big ticket item, is going through and changing out, updating infrastructure, right? Perfect. So yeah, I agree. Option 3 is probably going to be the best long-term solution for the community.
Councillor Rabble?
Sorry.
Last comment?
Yes, but that's fine. My interpretation of it was that we were just continuing again to apply for the Economic Development Officer grant, but we've obtained that. So option 1 is simply expanding on that to either increase that person's hours or hire an additional person with it. Whereas option 3 would actually be giving ourselves some understanding of what we need to do to replace our infrastructure, which is that's what we do. Yeah, I'd like to have all the cakes and eat them all too, but we don't have so much time.
Forest.
What does it end up at the end of the day? That's where we need to start.
Okay, I'm gonna call the question on option 1. All in favor? Nobody? All opposed?
Opposed.
Opposed.
Would anybody like their opposed noted?
No.
No, okay. Perfect. Okay, I'll go ahead and say I'll make the recommendation that we bring option 3 to our next council meeting on September 17th for a decision.
I second that.
Seconded by Mayor Beach. Okay, discussion on that? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
In favor.
Unanimously carried. Thank you. Okay. Correspondence. Is there anything anyone wants to bring out of correspondence specifically? Councillor Rabble?
I'm thinking 11.5, but
11.5?
the Ministry of Ag and Food.
Okay.
Actually, 11.1, we have an invitation from Doig River First Nations.
Yep. Okay. Okay, so 11.1, who would like to read that one?
Actually, I'd just like to lift 11.1 and make a recommendation that we move this to the regular council meeting.
Second.
Okay. Discussion on lifting 11.1 and bringing it forward to our regular council meeting on September 17th. Councillor
The
Rabble?
only question would be, is there a cost to this or is this free? Seems open. It seems like an invitation, but
Yeah, it's an invitation from my understanding of it.
I believe there'd be a cost in travel attention.
Chair, if I may?
Yeah.
I think there is a cost to this. This does appear to be a bit of a 3-day conference kind of a deal that they are putting on. I would just like council to know at that time I am unavailable for the only day I'm available is literally the Wednesday. I'm not available the Thursday or the Friday. So the 20th and 21st, sadly.
Okay, Mr. Malkinson?
Yeah, that's a detail that we can look into and have prepped before September 17th.
I appreciate that. Okay, seeing no more discussion, I'll call the question on bringing this forward to our September 17th regular council meeting. All in favor?
In favor.
That's unanimous and carried. Okay. And I'll make the recommendation that so it was 1 and 5 we wanted to pull out, right? Yeah. So I'll make the recommendation that we accept 11.2, 3, 4, 6, and 7 as information.
Don't forget about 8.
And 8 as information. Nobody's going to second that?
Second.
Seconded by Mayor Veach. Any discussion on accepting all except for number 5 as information? 11.5 as information? Okay. All in favor?
In favor.
Unanimous and carried. Okay.
that council received the BC Ministry of Agriculture and Foods request for input on temporary farm worker housing minister's bylaw standards letter and attached draft discussion paper for discussion.
Okay, seconded by Councilor Whittle. Discussion. Councilor Rabble?
So essentially, they're updating something from 2009, dealing with temporary farm worker housing structures and whatnot. And then also it deals with all the ALR updates. But we've got some, agricultural land, reserve land within the village. Is the village, are we interested in submitting something? Have we reached out to stakeholders? How should we proceed with this? I know that there are stakeholders in Area D and the other rural areas that are farmers that would be interested in providing feedback as well. But does the village have an interest, or the farmers or the ALR living people interested in submitting some feedback to this program?
I'll direct that to staff.
Question whether or not we're interested in.
Whether or not any of our ALR land.
Have farmers expressed interest, or should we
I
reach
see.
out to them and see if they're interested?
I don't know, yeah.
Open on with the orchards and then what do we have left here to do?
Hey.
If I may.
Lines for that.
Yes, Mayor.
We got equipment for that.
I'm just looking for some clarification. Has the Agricultural Land Reserve actually put out like a survey on their website regarding people putting in notice that we could share on our social media and websites just to kind of save some staff time. There might already be a notice up.
They say they've conducted a fulsome review.
As a resident that lives within the agricultural land reserve, this is the first I've heard of it.
It's the final
I'll make that.
consultation with local governments, so that's what I'm interested in. I believe that it would be somewhat helpful if we send to addresses located within the village that are also located within agricultural land reserve land. Maybe we simply provide them, hey, there's something that has a feedback deadline and it's from the ministry. I think that might be something helpful.
Want to make that a recommendation?
Chair, if
Positive.
I may,
Yes, Mayor?
I'm just a little bit concerned about the staff time with us contacting all the residents that would be eligible within the agricultural land reserve. That's quite a bit of staff time, so that's why I'm kind of wondering if we could really share it on social media and then maybe put some of our notices up in our regular notice places, like outside the post office, rather than reaching out. I'm a little bit worried about staff time.
Has the Village Voice gone out yet, do we know?
Not for the fall, no.
Okay. Councilor Rebel?
I make the motion to direct staff to post notice in accordance with our corporate communications policy. This, essentially this project that's we're inquiring about final consultation so that folks can access it. I don't know, that's horribly worded, but what I'm getting at is go through our existing policy to post notice as the Mayor has mentioned.
Okay.
I second.
Seconded by Mayor.
Discussion point.
Councilor Whittle?
Does the recommendation not have to take this to the council meeting to approve it?
Okay. Councilor Rabble may make an amendment to your motion that we bring this to our regular council meeting on the 17th of September for decision.
Is the committee of the whole barred from such a decision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
You can't do anything.
We just bring it to the meeting.
Recommendation.
I accept your friendly amendment to bring it forward to the September 17th regular council meeting.
Mayor, do you still second that motion?
I would be comfortable seconding that as long as it comes forward with the original recommendation that Councilor Rabble has made. So Councilor Rabble is making the recommendation, and that recommendation is to come forward to the 17th for the initial vote.
Sounds good to me. Okay. Any discussion on that motion?
I'm just gonna be that guy tonight.
You really are.
I'm glad I'm the one doing this. All in favor of Councilor Rabble's motion to bring this forward to our regular council meeting on the 17th of September for a decision?
In favor.
Carried unanimously. Perfect. Here we go. Bylaws 12.1. I'll read this because I changed the recommendation in when we adopted the agenda. Recommendation on the Village of Pooskoopie Building Regulation Amendment Bylaw number 1081 be discussed and potentially brought forward at our next general meeting, regular council meeting for decision. Seconded by Councilor Johnson.
We can do this.
We can discuss it, that's about it. We can't do first, second, and third reading tonight. We'd have to do that on the 17th.
Yep.
And then the following council meeting, then we can implement.
Yeah. When we adopted the agenda, we amended the motion. Any discussion on 12.1? Councilor Rabble?
It seems like this is just a follow-up from the RD's letter saying consult us about demolition permits, and then that we're actually, as we had directed staff, please implement this accordingly, and they've come back with this. I appreciate staff's time and attention to this matter.
And the one addition to it, I noticed that was in there, and I've seen in nice bold lettering that any tar or petroleum type product needs to be separated when separating these.
Like shingles.
Yeah, actually, yeah, it's, I like the way staff did that, actually, it was nice bold lettering, with the changes that were made, so.
Wish I'd be too clear for that, but that was an easy thing.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah, it's nice and clear in there, so.
Yeah.
And just for clarification, Mr. Mulkinson, we are already in compliance with what the regional district is asking for. This is just putting it in writing.
Yeah, through Mr. Chair, thanks for the recognition. The day after, I think we had a demo permit that was in process, so yeah, we gave the RD a shout just to let them know that we were processing permit. This is more of operationalizing it, just making sure that we're checking the box. The authority for demo permits is via this bylaw, so we just figured a quick amend would make it inescapably clear to staff and in the future that we're supposed to notify the RD in advance of approval of these, or notify the RD after approval of these.
Perfect. Yes, Councillor Rebel?
The one piece though is this bylaw is from 2008, hasn't been touched since, and I don't wish to burden staff with additional time crunches, but is this bylaw as amended, would this be in compliance with current statutes and updates and all the different pieces?
I didn't go through that exhaustive of a review during the amendment process, but I suspect there are some things that might get it.
That's what I'm worried about.
Would staff be inclined to look at it when it comes before on the 17th, and if there's a couple different versions of it?
We could, you know, I don't know that like an overhaul is quite in the cards. Like it would be preferable to include this on the list of bylaws to be, I think there's a lot of bylaws that need to be updated, but yeah, we can double check and make sure that it's legally functional, aka that nothing is broken in it. And you know, if that's the case, we'll certainly flag something to you.
How does the committee feel about that maybe being potential different options to make it easier for staff? And then they don't have to look at the bylaw multiple times?
Chair, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
I think because this is a request coming from the Peace River Regional District regarding demolition permits, I think we should definitely start here and then move forward with this one to the 17th meeting, and then just direct staff to add this to kind of the top of their bylaw review list. I think that would probably be the best way to really proceed with it. That way we're meeting the expectations and standards of the Peace River Regional District while not overburdening staff at the same time.
That's a fair comment. So the motion right now is to bring it forward to discuss and bring forward to the next council meeting for decision. I will call the question on that. All in favor of bringing this forward?
In favor.
Unanimous and carried. And I am going to call a recess. If anyone has an issue with that? No?
Chair, I believe all we have left is, we have several reports that come.
I'm going to call it recess.
To
Do I have to say why I'm calling it recess?
Recess to the special meeting?
Yeah.
There we go.
I'm going to call a recess to the special meeting, and we'll resume this once the special meeting's over.
Okay. Perfect. I'm scared to do that. It was a paltry gathering.
There we go.
It's a little bit shaky. The end is